They're not part of the levels, yeah. And you will see it in the picture that they have. Are we good? Really quickly, the top of the esophagus, when I say top of the esophagus, I'm pointing right here. We could tonically control that, meaning what? What is it here? If you could control it, what? Skeletal muscle. You start going into here, you lose control, right? The fact that I'm doing this, I'm moving I'm not, people are like, oh, you're moving your stomach. No. What am I moving? I'm moving the outside muscles. Can't move my stomach if I wanted to. What people do, I watch this guy on TV, he was shaking, he's like, oh, I could shake my stomach, right? And he tries to spin it, he puts stuff in his mouth and he shoots it out. It's like this weird guy. And he's like, yeah, I can control, you can't. Because what he's doing is, he's controlling the outside muscles, which, in fact, what they do is, think of your stomach, it's sitting right here, I could just do this, right? If I control the muscles could push on it and do whatever. So, as he's doing that, stuff was spinning in his stomach and he was shooting it back out, which is the dumbest shit ever. Because we'll talk about GERD, and this is gonna make sense because your stomach is so acidic. Your esophagus does not have all this really nice lining, right, of brush border enzymes that are gonna shoot stuff like proton to neutralize things. So you shoot acid through your esophagus, you are going to have cancer. You're gonna die. It's just like the easiest way to die. It just makes sense. It's like right now, if I just put you on fire, does it make any sense? It's like you right now. Put you on fire without having to wear a vest or something. You'll die. It just doesn't make sense. So, I wish I had a video of it. It was just pretty cool. So again, the upper portion of the, so if he says something, I don't think he asked this before, but just in case, he says, that's the esophagus, are you able to control the esophagus? Right? And you say what?
Said partly though. Like the top
partly,
one-third.
of course. She said no, and that was wrong. Not trying to pick on her, but you could control upper portion. Why?
Did he say partly?
He said 1/3 of it or something.
It doesn't matter. If it's 1%, you can control it. Period. Okay? Slide 15-6.
So what does the muscularis externa do?
I'm sorry?
Muscularis externa?
Oh, the muscularis externa is going to be used for propulsion, right? Because the inner ones, what are they going to do? They're used for secretion, right? One of them contain the granules and the other one's secreted, and the outside one is going to be used for propulsion. We'll get into more detail definitely of what that means. Slide 15-6. I want to read this to you how he says it. This is what he said. So you have the lamina propria, right? We kind of have an idea where that is, all the way like on top of our head if we're inside. And then he says, what's located beneath the lamina propria? What do you guys think? Beneath the lamina propria. And the answer is going to be submucosa. And this is weird, the way that you're gonna do this, you see how this opening, this is the GI tract, right? And we are standing on it. In our feet is the lamina propria, the mucosa. What's under it? What's under that? Okay? Yes.
It's really hard for me to hear, so I think if you're going to just keep recording, I'll just do that part.
Sounds good. Alright, sweet.
Because it keeps breaking up and it's kind of hard to hear what you're saying.
I know, plus his camera is sexy as hell, so I'm fine. Alright, have a good life.
Okay.
Alright. So are we good? The submucosal plexus, now there's special names for it. When we say, so we have mucosa under us, we have submucosa, the middle layer. We could also call that the Meissner's plexus.
For which one?
The submucosal plexus. M-E-I-S-S-N-E-R-S plexus. Meissner's plexus. however you want to say it. Okay? And then, what do we have after that? We have the myenteric plexus, right? And what we call that upper box plexus. A-U-E-R-U-B-A-C-H apostrophe-S plexus. Okay? Just know both names, right? Because he could say to you Meissner's plexus or submucosal plexus, so whatever. 15.6, the upper portion is like whatever. Autonomic nervous system, parasympathetic stimulates granular secretions, right? Parasympathetic is rest and digest, and it just makes sense. Induces peristalsis and relaxes sphincter muscles. If you're relaxing sphincter muscles, what are you doing? Just letting stuff happen, right? Because if you're contracting sphincter muscles, for example, if you contract the sphincter muscles from your stomach to what? Your duodenum, what are you saying? I don't want to do. I don't want to cause reabsorption, right? And you don't want to do that because you have a bear chasing you. You don't want to waste energy doing that. It just makes sense. You have visceral sensory. Visceral sensory is going to be, you could say visceral sensory is you looking at things, right? But realistically, when they visceral, they're talking about inside. Like some people say that's outside, it doesn't matter. But you have mechanical and you have chemical. Mechanical is me eating, right? Me eating, this is happening, shit gets released, and that happens. You have chemical stuff happening, which we'll cover in a second. Alright. Slide 15.7. Actually, this is a little bit on the back. I just wanted to say what peristalsis was. Peristalsis is going to be a wave-like, W-A-V-E-like contraction that happens all the way through, for example, the esophagus. It's going to happen in the stomach, which sounds weird, but I'll explain it, and all the way down. So it's basically how stuff gets out the GI tract, or travels along. Segmentation, right, is going to be, should I explain it right now?
There's a slide for it.
Yeah, there's a slide for it. All segmentation is going to do, like I said before, is stop something. And the major way we like to see that is we like to see it in the small intestine. And because 90% of reabsorption is going to happen there.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's a plexus? Like, I know you're saying the Meissner and myenteric, but like, what are they? They just lay over.
Yeah.
Those.
They're just like layers. They just have to come up with a fancy name for them, like everything else. Are we good? So the submucosal plexus, the Meissner's plexus, controls granular secretions, which I said that before, so if you're already, you have to write it again. Myenteric plexus, or box plexus, controls all the muscles in the cavity, right? So inside is secretions, outside is movement.
You said controls the muscular movement?
Yes, ma'am. Right? It's gonna have to move somehow, so that's in the outside. And in the slide 15.7, it talks about all this garbage stuff. I don't want to go through it. It's because it's just whatever. We'll cover it. Where's the submucosal plexus? I wrote it one more time because I don't want to forget. I put direct control of glands, right? Direct control of glands that are going to be in the mucosa or lamina propria. Okay?